You are listening to Good to Great Life Coaching Podcast with Jill Farren. And this is where we take your real life struggles and issues and we create results with tools you will use forever. And here we go. Your Future Self Now podcast. In this episode of From Good to Great podcast, I want to talk to you about you, the future you, and what that may look like from where you are now. Does that excite you? And does it scare you? Does it look like it could be full of opportunities and fun? This could actually be the most impactful work you could do for yourself right now. So how are you, my tribe, my friends? Welcome to kind of getting out of your now and pushing the thinking brain into the future a bit, so to speak. The name of the podcast is called Your Future Self Now, because a lot of the things I have been thinking about lately is the difference between people that they can see their future self and the people who are afraid of what's to come or live completely in the now. They kind of respond to what's going on in their life. And I'm not saying don't stop to smell the flowers, because that's really, really important. And I'm not saying that don't be enjoying time on the couch watching your favorite Netflix. I'm not saying that at all. Being present is also a skill that sometimes needs practice, but when we can see a clear picture of what could be in store for us and what we want to have, to feel, to be, to do all the things, our brain could start understanding to go to task, to get the pre-work done, to make it real. And if we don't operate with a vision, we may not have the faith that will give us the wherewithal really to do the tasks and the actions that are required to get us there. It sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But it really, really isn't. And just the concept might sound different to you. One of my missions in this world is really to help women, especially to know their worth and be able to see that the small decisions made today and tomorrow will shift or not shift you. It depends on how you're living today, what your future is going to look like tomorrow. And that could be good or bad, amazing or static quo. What you see for yourself in 5 years could delight you, or it could kind of feel depressing. And this is what I want to explore with you today. I really love the story of Tiger Woods explaining that he rehearsed in his mind what the outcome would be in the tournament he was playing golf in. And this is a long time ago, but it really is a great way to explain this concept if you're not used to this. The story goes like this, that when people asked him about how he maintained his focus and performed under like really intense pressure, and golf is that, right? Like I always hear my husband talk about it. If you have ever played the game, you know that there is so much that goes into the swing and, and you may have it one hole and the next is a slicer. I think that's the saying. I think that's a term in golf. He explained that, Tiger that is, he explained that he didn't just hope to hit a great shot. He had already experienced it in his mind. So here's the concept. So specifically, for any given shot, Tiger would take a moment he'd see the shot and he would visualize the ball flight with perfect, clear vision, the entire path, the way it was flying through the air, the trajectory, the curve that it was going to take, the exact spot where it would land and it would roll. And he really called this taking a picture of the shot. So it's all in his mind, right? And then he would feel the shot. He would visualize his body making the perfect swing that he was required to make to create that picture in his mind. So he's still looking in his mind and visualizing how it would happen. And then, of course, he would execute the shot. Once he had this clear mental blueprint of exactly how it was going to go, the physical execution became almost a formality. So him actually doing it, he'd already done it in his mind. He was just putting it to the picture that he'd had created in his mind. This works. This works all the time. And the thing, I'm going to get back to that, but I remember that many a time when I was in the corporate world and I was, if I was running late, in my mind, I created the worst situation, and it always happened. And so this visualization and this planning ahead of time and really seeing the way it's going to go, it makes a difference, because when your mind is on board, your brain goes to task to ensure that that is what happens. Very powerful here. So that's really, Tiger Woods was really winning before it happened. And the mental technique extended to him winning a ton of tournaments as well, right? Back in the day. And when he was asked about his confidence or how he handled the pressure of the final round, he said, and quite famously, by the way, you might even have heard this, that he wasn't trying to win. He was just completing a process that he had already perfectly rehearsed already in his mind. Powerful, right? For Tiger, there was a difference between hoping to win and knowing the final outcome, because he had mentally walked through the moment of victory hundreds and hundreds of times. I think too, with the other thing, with visualization, when you've performed it in your mind and you're going to task to do it, it really takes out a lot of the mental stress that you might feel if you've never done it before, or if you're worried. It's with absolute certainty, this is powerful mental pre-programming. And that was really a cornerstone of his dominance in the in the gold world for so long in his life. And he performed with such cold laser focus that he could just over and over and over again create the biggest moments for himself in his life. And he wasn't hoping to win. He was manifesting what he'd seen and what he'd already seen in his mind. And that is the key to really numbing out some of the anxiety or the tense or the worry, and seeing it in your mind and then knowing for sure that it's going to happen. And a lot of the time it is our belief system. And if we believe we are going to win, we are going to do it, we are going to have what we want to create for ourselves, that's the beginning of a beautiful story. Let's just dive right into your future. It's you we want to talk to right now, right? Envisioning it exactly the way you want it really is the juiciness. And, this is something I feel that when we are envisioning, we make it more often. I did this in my own life, made it more mediocre or have kind of an underwhelming vision, and one that we have tricked ourselves into thinking that we deserve, or that's all we could possibly get anyway. But the encouragement here is that, we go all in with a vision of what would absolutely light you up and beyond that. So we're going to do that, and then times 10. What do you feel like? What are you wearing? What's your style? Like, this is what you want to kind of think about. Who are you waking up next to? And what are you doing for a living? How are you spending all of your time? And where do you live? What are you driving? Are you volunteering on a goat farm? Are you traveling the world? What is it? What is it that gets you excited? What is it that makes you feel just so excited and lit up? And this is what I'm talking about. Not picking something or kind of walking through that vision with what you've already had. We're moving it to what would delight and surprise you, what would absolutely make you jump up and down with delight and excitement. That's what I'm talking about. We talk about the power of the present moment, which is totally true. But we also have to recognize that the present moment is where we create the future. So today we create tomorrow. And the things you are doing today will give you the results later. And that's where trust comes in too. Did you know that you have way more control over your future, over your whole future than you might think? We're going to make that future feel so tangible that you can practically reach out and touch it. And that is my mission here for you today. There is a power in the vision. And, even my story with Tiger Woods, and think of a time when it happened in your life too, when you kind of envisioned something so exciting, like even on Christmas morning where you expected something and you got it, and how did it feel? And that's what we want. We want your creative juices flowing. We want you to remember a time where you felt that excitement and you felt that happiness that comes with the vision. There's a power in the vision, in the excitement, the fear, and even status quo. When you allow yourself to actually think about your life 2 or 3 or 5 years from now, how do you genuinely feel in your gut? Does it feel exciting and great? Does it feel, oh my God, it sets me on fire? I see this with my clients all the time, and I find there are really only 3 main ways this vision can land. And I want you to be totally honest with yourself about which one feels most true right now. And there's no judgment here. There's no judgment, just awareness. No judgment, like from you, I mean. So don't put judgment on yourself. The first way is with excitement and knowing. This is the best one. And this one is when you can actually feel the future in your body. You know that what you're working towards. You might not have all the steps figured out. And how could you, right? Because we don't know all the hows yet. But you're on the path. And that makes you feel excited and energized and ready to go. You know what you want because you actually took the time to define it. And this is it. You're building the life you want brick by brick. And this is how it starts. The decision, and then what really, really gets you excited. And the second way is with a little bit of fear. And maybe you're scared of the uncertainty. Maybe you're worried you won't get that promotion, or you won't hit that goal, or you'll take a risk and you'll fail, or you'll lose what you have now. Fear makes things blurry, right? It makes the future feel out of your control. Almost like, if I was to give you an example, it's like a boat being tossed by a storm and you're wondering, oh, where am I going to end up? What's going to happen? When you live in fear of the future, you end up freezing in the present. It keeps you static. It keeps you where you are, which is the worst possible outcome. A little bit of fear and doing it anyway is a different story. That's courage. But anyway, I want to give you the third way too. So, and then there's the third way, which is maybe the most common. It's kind of status quo, where you are. A lot of clients will say to me that they're stuck. They present with, I'm stuck. And I call this Groundhog Day. It's a Groundhog Day future. Like when you wake up and it's the same routine, the same job, the same struggles, the same clothes you were wearing 5 years ago. You're just coasting. And it's not bad. And that's the trap, because you're okay and you don't hate it, but it's a trap because it's just fine. And you can have more than just fine. And maybe you're not used to that. And you know what? Fine is the enemy of fabulous. If you don't take the wheel, life will drive itself. And usually it drives right back to the familiar, the safe, and the same old, same old. And like I said, that's okay. If that's what, keeps you comfortable and that's the way you want it to stay, that's fine. But if you want more than what you've had, then we need to make a change. And here's the thing. It all starts with the vision. And before we can really plan anything, you have to decide what your fabulous future looks like. And that's your job. The next trap is falling into the mediocre vision. And I often run into this. I ran into it myself in my corporate world. And I kind of got to become an account executive. That's what I really wanted. And I did the work and I did the job and I stayed there, and I just stayed there. And every day I really liked it, but now when I look back, I'm thinking, how come? Because I am an ambitious person. I always have been ambitious. But when I became the account executive, I kind of stayed there and why didn't I go for a director? Why? I never thought I could. Isn't that funny? So some of the things I could have thought that I could do, I just didn't bother because I just didn't think I could. But I could if I had envisioned it for myself. So take your vision and make it 10 times bigger. This isn't about being realistic right now. It's about permission. What are you doing? How do you feel? Who are you with? What does your health look like? Your career? What about your relationships? Ask yourself these questions and take 5 minutes this week just to dream, and then times 10, and then write that down. I think that writing down, have a paper and pen in hand, is much more powerful than just thinking it. Thinking it is great. Writing it down is much more impactful. And when we write it down, it's really addressing it twice. So our brain it's almost like it's cementing in, anchoring into our brain, so that even it addresses our beliefs a little bit. And I have another episode just on beliefs that you may want to listen to. But here's the thing. We don't only want to look at what your health looks like and how you feel. What are your top emotions? Who are you with? All the things. What are your relationships like? We want to know absolutely everything that comes into your mind that would be just the perfect life for you, that would just light you up, that is in you, that you just dream about. That's what we want to go all big here. Then we go to task. This is about picking your 3 major up levels, okay? So now that you have this gorgeous vision in your head, the feeling of the future that you want, let's make it concrete. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed and try to change everything at once. That's a recipe for a little bit of a burnout there. And we're going to pick just 3 major up levels, just 3 for now. 3 big, bold changes in your life that you want to see happen in the next 2 years. Just 3.
Hello, and thank you for taking the time to listen to the Good to Great Life Coaching Podcast with Jill Farren. If you like this podcast, please take the time to like and subscribe, and feel free to leave any comments and look below for the contact information if you would like to connect with Jill directly. Just a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for professional care. This podcast is provided with the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you are looking for help in your journey, it is important that you seek out a qualified practitioner. If you would like to work with Jill for her guidance, please email her at jill@jillfarren.com to book a discovery call. That's Jill, Jill, at jillfarren.com, JILLFARREN.com. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, depending on when you catch this.